Good morning, everyone. My name is Miss Yolanda, and I am the Kids Ministry Director here at Twin Lakes Church. One of the many things I love about working with kids is that they often remind me how to be a better adult. Kids love to play. They get lost in simple things like coloring or playing with Play-Doh. If they're sad, often a hug and a lollipop can make it all better. But kids also love to help others. They can't wait to be helpers, sometimes before they even know what they are being asked to help with. In Galatians 5:13, Paul is talking to the Christians in Galatia, and he tells them, "You, my brothers and sisters, were called to be free, but do not use your freedom to indulge the flesh. Rather, serve one another humbly in love." Now, Paul's pretty fired up here when he's talking to them because the Christians there were following a false gospel. They were promoting faith by works, not by grace. The grace that faith in Jesus gives us. It's because of Jesus that we no longer live under an impossible law. We live under the love and the grace that Jesus provides. You see, Jesus freed us from the bondage of sin. But we are not called to use this freedom to live selfishly or by our own fleshly desires. Jesus shows us how to live. He lived selflessly. He loved others. He served others well. Matthew 20:28 tells us that just as the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve and to give his life as a ransom for many. Jesus wasn't self-serving. Jesus is love. When we find ourselves in situations to love others, let's do it. When we find ourselves in situations to help others, let's do it. And when we find ourselves in those situations where maybe we disagree with someone, or maybe someone makes us mad or upsets us about something, let's remind ourselves to love them too. This again is where I'm reminded by the kids how to be a better adult. When a child is having a hard day, maybe they're not listening, or maybe they're acting out, or they're being argumentative, I will stop and I will listen. And in that moment, I will put their needs first. You see, I want to know how to serve them better, how I can be there for them. I want them to know that they are cared for and deeply loved by Jesus and by me. See, it's not about the need to be right. It's about doing the right thing. And the right thing is what Jesus shows us and what Paul reminds us: to love and to humbly serve. Now, can you just for a moment imagine a world that looks like that? Well, my friends, we can create this world one person at a time. And that starts with each of us. That can start with you. That can start with me. But you might be wondering, well, that is sometimes easier said than done. Absolutely. I 1,000% agree. But let me go on to read what Paul says next. In Galatians 5:14 and 5:15, Paul continues, "For the whole law is fulfilled in one statement: love your neighbor as yourself. But if you bite and devour one another, watch out, or you will be consumed by one another. Yikes! So this tells me that if we continue a life seeking our own selfish desires, like holding on to the need to be right, holding on to our ego and our pride or other fleshly desires, we will basically be destroyed. We will be hurting each other. We're definitely not shining the light of Jesus in the world when we behave like this. So, what do? How do we love others and humbly serve them? Well, verses 5:16 through 18 tells us that when we walk by the Spirit, you will certainly not carry out the desires of the flesh. Listen to this. For the flesh desires what is against the Spirit, and the Spirit desires what is against the flesh. These are opposed to each other, so that you don't do what you want. But if you are led by the Spirit, you are not under the law. In Galatians 5:22, we are reminded that the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Ask God every day to help you with this. Pray for your enemies. Matthew 5:44 is a reminder to love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Walk by the Spirit. This is how we win. When we walk by the Spirit, it changes who we are and what we do. Set your mind on God. Allow Him to transform your heart. The more we live like this every day, the easier it will be, and the more love that we will spread in the world. This reminds me of my friend Bumblebee. When I allow God to transform my heart, it allows me to better go out into the world and share His love. Kids ministry. I love it. Have a great day, everybody.